I think a lot of people knew who they all were in the house with, and I kind of felt distant because no one really knew of me and my work. But David Guest did, and Jonathan did, so that made me feel a little bit more comfortable and
relaxed.
relaxed.
Come back to David Guest in just a moment.
We will.
And Daniela, for you, I mean, it was important for you to go in because you wanted. It was almost like to regain the trust and love of the British public.
But also, you know, it's very easy to be perceived a certain way. So that for me, the best way to do it is to show that what the press that I've had, that I'm not that person. For people to make up their own minds and where I've come from, was to go in there and just be myself for a month. But there's nowhere to hide, is there? So
there is nowhere to hide, which is why actually it's kind of a gamble because we've seen people go in and want to do that and it backfire almost on them.
Yeah,
so were you worried?
I've been asked over the last 3 years to do it, and for different commitments and things that were going on and losing my home and all that sort of stuff. It never really was the right time, and this was the perfect time for me. And I loved the journey, loved the whole experience, and I was more than settled in the house and more than comfortable. Yeah, for me, it was the right thing to do.
And Tiffany, you're a stubborn soul because the David Guest incident, which was the worst and best television, it was so astonishing that obviously we all out on the outside had the terrible news that David Bowie had died, which is so that's the dreadful, shocking start to this unbelievable misunderstanding that you're told that David is dead and you think that it's David Guest who's in the next room.
Right. And Phillip and Holly, you guys can understand this. We don't get the paper in there, so the next closest thing to David in my head is David Guest. And he was suffering from a bit of a cough, so I just thought maybe the cold killed him.
No, he had pneumonia. He was very poorly. Yeah. And we'd all taken turns during the bits you don't see. We'd all taken turns during the night getting up and seeing to him.
So you were genuinely
very, very ill.
But the trouble was, and that is all fine. That's okay. That moment is fine. It's a misunderstanding, but you just wouldn't let it go.
I was so stubborn, weren't I?
Yeah, you were.
I was. You know what? I felt so ashamed. I was so embarrassed that I was so totally wrong. And my pride, it just got too big to swallow. I should have said I'm sorry, but Ange, we made up since then. I made up with her.
What did you learn about yourself in there? I mean, have you come away going, this was a good experience because now I won't behave like this anymore, or now I'm aware I'm a bit like this? What did you learn?
Celebrity Big Brother has grown me up quite a bit. I don't kick off as quickly as I used to. Like, it really taught me to, you know, learn how to live with strangers if I'm ever in a situation where I have to live with strangers.
Never again.
Yeah, but that